Welcome back, everybody, to Round 2 Back 9 coverage of the 2020 Ledgestone Insurance Open, presented by Grip Equipment and presented by Discraft. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here again by Tristan Tanner, and we head into the Back 9 of the Northwoods Gold Course for the last time this weekend.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to be playing this course twice, and then we head over to Eureka Lake. This Back 9 is probably the toughest stretch of holes that we'll play all weekend.
A lot of players on tour have been saying that this is one of the toughest back nines in disc golf. So we will see how they do here. Again, Patreon supporters of Gatekeeper Media, thank you so much for all the support. We have way more coverage coming soon and a lot more commentary from the two of us. We have Anthony Barela, Charlie Goodpasture, Jeremy Koling, and Zach Melton on the card. And really not a crazy front nine for anybody.
Yeah, we have Anthony at 2 down and Germ at 1 down, which are both good rounds heading into this back 9, but they definitely want to start to pick up some more birdies.
Yeah, and I think there are still a lot of scoreable shots on this back, or scoreable holes in this back 9, but tee shots are even more important than they were on the front.
Yeah, big numbers come into play quick on this back 9, and on hole 10 that is in play. The tee shot is a straight fairway driver, probably mid-range for a lot of players, just trying to get either at the top of this hole or maybe on the second landing zone, which leaves you some sort of little flex forehand or a straight putter into the green.
Yeah, it's very likely that even a tee shot that feels good out of the hand is in a position where you have to throw an uncomfortable second shot. There's not just a perfect landing zone that's easily accessible to throw straight at the basket. AB, I'm guessing, is going to want to just get this as far down the fairway as possible.
Yeah, I would assume he's throwing one of his Team Series T-Bird 3s.
Little bit of an early release. The kick wasn't terrible, though.
Yeah, it should be mentioned there has been a pretty big backup on this hole throughout the weekend. So coming into this tee shot, it is very easy to just either fluff your shot or maybe overcommit a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And Zach is going backhand. I'm not sure if he's going roller or he's just trying to go straight. Not in a terrible position, but definitely a tough one if he wants to go for the birdie.
Yep, maybe he just didn't commit to the Anheuser out of his hand.
Mm-hmm. We see Germ going back to that Eagle L. This one has a really sweet late flip to it. A little early. But that just kept pushing forward.
Wow, and that's a great position right there. Should have a pretty straight look down at the green.
Yeah, that's a solid landing spot. Yeah. This greenish gold disc that Charlie has in his hand is indeed the Lots, the newer disc from Castoplast. 9 or 10 speed control driver. Wow.
That is laced. Getting that late fade. Unfortunate to hit that root or stump there because I was going to get a little bit more distance, but again, that's just fine position.
That's a good pitch out from Zach. He'll have a nice little jump putt approach to the basket for a par.
And it is really interesting how hard this hole plays for being only 560 feet. It feels like you should really be able to play 290-foot shots and then be good, but it really just plays so specific and tricky.
This is another safari hole that's been created on the Northwoods Gold layout. So this is a mixture of 2 old par 3s. So we have 2 straight shots that have been combined into one hole. So that's where this landing zone is kind of the no man's land between the 2 holes. So it has been cleared out quite a bit, though. So this hole is starting to break in quite nicely. Here's a Rico from Charlie.
Just outside the circle should be a putt. You see Germ from a very similar spot.
Ooh, and shout out to the Bushnell for the rangefinders. Yep. apparently there is a new rangefinder from Bushnell coming out this weekend that measures in feet. So be on the lookout for that, disc golfers.
Germ looks like he actually has a pretty tricky shot here, lining up probably some sort of flex forehand on that right side.
He does love that line, fortunately. I think as long as he just commits to hitting the angle out of his hand, he should be good.
Yeah, it's definitely not out of his comfort zone.
No. I would say if I were to choose one player to hit this shot, this is the one I'd choose.
This looks to be his signature mortar.
Very overstable mortar.
Yeah, didn't quite commit to the Anheuser out of his hand, and he knows that that's a missed opportunity there. A little bit of a run there from Zach with the harp.
Oh, no. Couple of rough approaches there from Germ.
Yeah, and that's going to leave him a tricky putt for his par.
AB for the birdie. Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Huge putt from AB.
Scramble, scramble, birdie. That is a sweet way to finish this hole out. Ooh, look at that pep in his step. And he knows that that was a pretty bad missed opportunity. Here's Charlie for birdie as well.
Great putt.
Yeah, that was a sweet little hyzer putt from
Yep.
C2. It is interesting watching him putt from Circle 2 because of how much of a break he has to play in this putt because he is a pure hyzer putter.
Good one to see Zach hit after some putting struggles there on the front nine.
Germ's going to tap in an unfortunate bogey. And we're going to move into hole number 11. Speaking of challenging par threes earlier, this one is not, to say the least, not an easy tee shot.
Yeah, really, there's so much pressure on this tee shot to hit the initial gap and then get somewhere. You really, in the fairway is better than off the fairway with distance on this hole.
If you hit early, the scramble opportunity is almost non-existent. So players are going to be throwing a lot of straighter shots than the hole is played up to be. You'll see, yeah, it looks like actually Anthony is going with a Firebird, but I'm guessing he was trying to play a flex here.
I believe that's a Halo Destroyer, actually.
Oh, okay. And actually, he played that pretty straight initially, so it did get the fade late. It's a solid shot.
Yeah, he likes to rip over those overstable discs on that little nose down flat release and let him push.
And Charlie is flicking his lots here. Didn't quite get enough hyzer on it.
That is the better miss, though, out to that left side. There are some more scramble opportunities from that side, even though it still won't be easy. But if you go early right, it is pretty impossible to save par.
And that looks really good.
Pretty.
Straight skip.
That's a very solid shot from Zach. One of the better backhands I've seen on this hole.
And like we were talking about on the front nine, this is kind of a Germ specialty tee shot.
Yes.
Just that little bit of a stand up with that Star Wraith off the hyzer release and just pushing and then that little right finish.
Yeah, there's a few holes here that almost seem designed by Germ. We're on to you, Germ.
Charlie looks to not be too far in the rough here, which is great.
Here's a Berg. That's a solid shot. Nice.
Great putt. All those trees on the right side can really come into play. I wouldn't be surprised if we had to hit a little gap there.
Sweet birdie there from Germ. And that feels good, especially after that last hole, padding that bounce back stat. Mm-hmm.
Another great putt from Zach with that little step putt just outside the circle.
Yeah, I love how he's kind of constructed that putt. Very low maintenance. Did we just see 3 birdies on that hole?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, they made this tee shot look a lot easier than it actually is.
And like we mentioned in rounds previous, after this hole 11, we had a pretty big backup on hole 12's tee pad. So these players are actually going to be sitting and waiting for probably 20 to 30 minutes before they throw these next tee shots that we're going to see. And like we said, daunting holes. This one is the peak of that. This hole averaged 6.72 as a par 5. The tee shot is a very tricky left to right moving shot that has to land very soft somewhere in these wood chips. And then you turn this corner and you just see the basket so far away up this tunnel.
Just menacingly staring at you. You have to cross a creek to this flat spot, or if you're in a prime position, you will have an opportunity to try to get to the top of this hill with a big distance shot. But it doesn't stop there. We have another tunnel we have to get through with OB all down the left side. Truly a crowning jewel in the professional disc golf world. It is a beautiful, challenging, kind of scary hole.
Yeah, a lot of big numbers come into play on this. I would assume Anthony looks like he might have mid-range in his hand.
And I like the play, just a little less to deal with in regards to movement.
And that is such a common miss on this hole. Like we said, on hole 10, this one after the backup, it's really easy to just early release your shot a little bit, not being quite fresh enough.
Zach going a little high.
And I would assume that's one of his Tour Series Lucid X Mavericks.
And that's in an okay spot. He might have a flick stretch out to get over that creek there. And really, if you're over the creek in 2, you're in a decent spot to at least take a 5, which is, according to the spread, a birdie.
Yep. Let's see, Germ is going to opt for this forehand. I like this play, especially for him, with the amount of control he has to land discs softly with fast discs.
And he did not like it. I think he did saw that off early to the right, and that's not a good spot to be. I think he is throwing a Cax here, which is a mid-range. It's kind of like a mid-range driver hybrid disc.
Yeah, kind of like a 6-speed, pretty neutral flight that you can shape on multiple different angles.
And this is his flippy one, and that has gotten through, and he is in a prime spot to get up, potentially get up to the base of the hill and get himself an opportunity for birdie.
Yeah, executing that tee shot just feels so good. It's such a relief when you get it through that initial gap, because you know that you can manage once you get through there.
We are seeing 8s, 9s, 10s being scored on this hole. Germ gets to a decent spot. And that is a fantastic recovery from AB. He might have a shot to throw a driver up to the top of the hill.
Good second kick there. That could have been really bad if that continued to go to the right. He should have a look to advance from there.
Okay spot. He is going to actually have to work to even get that 5. Not terrible. He probably will have some sort of obstructed sidearm.
And you see, Charlie actually had a little bit of a gap there. He went a little bit too far, which brings those trees in. But down there at the bottom of the hill, he'll have a nice pitch up to the top.
Oh yeah. And if he has a good thumber or tomahawk, he might have a look at the green. Good job, buddy, is what he's saying.
Yeah, he was trying to get aggressive there with the roller, trying to lay it down to fight up that hill. Now he's going to be, I believe this is his more stable Eagle L.
Solid.
That'll be fine.
Ooh, bold move from Zach going with the backhand.
Oh, and
And
that's
it
a
paid
great
off.
shot with an EMAC Truth.
Wow.
A little bit of Annie out of the hand up to the top of the hill. Oh, and AB was going aggressive, trying to bite off quite a bit more distance. I kind of bit him there a little bit.
He still isn't up and down. And that's the hard thing about getting this birdie is this third shot to the green is so uphill. You need a flippy disc that needs to still stay nose up and somehow flip to flat.
It's a very good shot there from AB.
It's really interesting, the mental warfare this whole plays, because even if you're in a position to take a 6, you're still taking 0.7 strokes on the field. But you have to say that you got a bogey.
Great shot there from Zach. Charlie probably going back to that Rico that we've seen him throw. Oh, and a little pull tap.
Not sure if that helped him or hurt him.
Oh.
And that was a rough stretch from Germ right there. And that is a triple bogey 8. Charlie, after the rough kick off the pole, misses his comeback putt, I believe, for a 5. And he will also have to settle for a bogey.
And I got to give a quick shout out to Isaac Robinson, who was the only 4 on this hole for the day.
Birdie or double birdie?
It's like an eagle and a half.
Yes. Yeah, when you look at the scoring spread in the hole, a 4 is beyond a birdie. It's almost beyond an eagle.
I just want to send a huge thank you out to all of our Innova throwers that have supported the Tour Series program. Every player on Team Star and Champion has a special signature disc available at the Innova factory store and at retailers around the world. Huge part of what keeps us able to do what we love and be professional disc golfers out there on tour. So thank you so much for supporting it.
Hole number 13, dead straight par 4, 650 feet. OB cliff all down the left side of the hole. And just for fun, we'll have the fairway slope towards that out of bounds.
Yeah, this prime landing zone that we just flew over is also hard packed ground. So if your disc has any fade on it going to the left, it is probably going to move towards that OB. And then you're going to have some sort of left to right moving shot up to this green. And this is just a really tricky hole, especially after playing hole 12. You got probably some leftover little anger coming off on this tee shot.
Yeah, not much relief here, but Melton has piped a drive, and if it slows down, that's a good position. He'll be able to throw at least some sort of hyzer to the basket.
You see him asking for it to sit.
And it does. That's a great shot.
Yep. That's pretty scary, throwing that overstable driver, because you don't want to be too far to the right side.
Oh, no. Misfire there from Charlie. And where that disc kicked, he's not getting that back. That is absolute nothingness down there. So unfortunate for Charlie. Out of bounds and the lost disc. Germ flapping his wings at the disc there, telling it to sit down, and he might have some sort of stretch out backhand.
And this is a common play if you are short on this fairway, is throwing the cut roller.
Oh, wow.
And this is done very well.
Good shot. Thanks. Well done.
He'll have a look to save his 4,
Yeah.
which is incredible from that position.
A little bit too far right in that tee shot. He knows it.
This is one of Germ's slab from Infinite Disc.
Good out. Yeah, good out. I thought you got a nice 80, 90 footer to the woods. Easy.
Still gets the skip. It still had juice on it. And I think he might be in circle 1 even after that.
See Zach a little bit pinched off, and wow, that was an overstable disc.
Oh my gosh.
Lucid Felons. Perfect shot there. That was incredible. I thought he sawed it off too much out of his hand. Germ with the AVRX3 under the basket.
AB going with a shallow circle 2 step putt.
No. Such an easy putt, man.
He might have been pinched up on that tree, which might have been why he elected to go for that little step putt. Didn't quite have the commitment that he wanted.
Germ's going to tap in the par. Melton's going to snag. I believe that was a birdie after that beautiful second shot. And Charlie was just so close to snagging that par save, but that's what that hole does to you. We move into hole number 14, 330-foot downhill par 3. One of the more scenic shots on this course.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the multiple signature holes, throwing downhill onto this beautiful green. Again, this creek is casual. A lot of players are just going to be playing mid or putter, trying to get it somewhere up onto that basket area.
Yeah, and here's an ace run. After all of the treachery on this course, we finally give the players a little hope 3/4 of the way through the round. And that looked like an overstable putter of sorts.
And that looked like it found the creek.
And that's a good-looking line. That's got to sit down.
Wow, nice soft reaction off the ground. Was able to hit that little hillside on the front. Slowed it down perfectly. Like we've said multiple other times, this is another Germ kind of bread and butter shot.
And he's opting down tempo on a driver, which I really like this play. But that's got to sit down a little bit more.
A little bit high.
Still really impressive to control that driver forehand from that distance. And this is a Gautier from Castaplace, a mid-range. The it's just a little bit deep. Great shots in the hole from the whole card, except for Zach did catch an early tree. This creek, I believe, is casual.
See Zach just putting his foot in there, not taking any relief. And that's a great approach.
Charlie for birdie. There it is. See if Germ can capitalize on one of these circle's edge putts. Seems like he's been struggling a little bit with these. And that's not a reaction you want. Hopefully he stayed up there. And I'm not sure if he stayed up or he went down to the bottom, but looks like he did go down, and he just seems completely frustrated with this round. Hasn't been able to capitalize on any bad breaks. He is grinding out here.
Yeah, and that's really, this course takes so much mental fortitude to get through a round. Playing good or bad, you just have to be able to manage whatever's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a great putt from Germ.
It's one of those putts that you probably don't even feel relief after hitting it, but if you missed it, it would have felt terrible.
Exactly.
Especially to put a drive within circle one in this one. Solid birdie there from AB.
Par from Zach. 2 pars, 2 birdies. Pretty common on this hole. Moving on to hole number 15, which is one of the more daunting par 3s. OB left, OB right. This creek is OB on this hole, and then it plays kind of like an island green with OB left and OB long.
They have increased the surface area of this island at least to where if you do saw one off shallow left, you still will be in bounds with maybe a 50-footer. Great change, in my opinion, from last year. Doesn't make the hole any less daunting from the tee.
Yeah, the hardest part is if you clip any tree on this hole, you are going to be OB.
Yeah, it's the early out of bounds that still makes the hole daunting, and that flex sidearm looks really solid from AB.
That's a great shot.
Sweet line. And that's the element of this hole that I do like, is I've watched it be played multiple times, or multiple different ways from multiple players. And Charlie's got a putter in his hand. We don't know if that's inbounds or not. I think he was just trying to go for the layup, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. Was that a putter from Zach?
Yeah, I believe that's a judge. Probably a lucid judge.
That is a well-committed shot. He is inside circle one. And here's Germ with that Eagle L again. No! And he, round one, had a similar fate. And that's going to sit down.
Not quite sure where Germ is playing from on this shot.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's actually inbound still.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that is inbounds over there by 16's tee pad, but that looks to be where he's playing from.
Oh, no. And that one is out of bounds. Oh, boy. You feel for him at this point. The round is just clearly wearing on him. And here's Zach for birdie.
He's really turned it around here on this back nine. That's his 4th birdie here after hole 9. Back to even par.
Yeah, he's finally fought back. After 15 holes, he's back to even. And he's in a position to birdie the last 3 and still shoot a fantastic round. AB with back-to-back birdies. It's interesting to see him as usually such a backhand dominant player, opting for a lot of sidearms out here.
Yeah, I think that's something new for this year. He's been trusting it a lot. He's also gained a lot of speed on his forehand. He's really just been trusting it so much.
And there's a 3 save from Charlie. Luckily, his first shot was not out of bounds.
Matt Bell here with my signature series studies, and with a little firmer feel, you can be confident that it's going to fly on the angle you put it on all the way to the basket.
Oh, huge putt for Bell.
Hole 16, the final par 5 of the round. 1,040 feet, and I said it in round 1. This is a 3 or even 4 stage hole. We have initial gap. We can go hyzer and hopefully land it in this short landing zone. We then have to go through this very tight gap with an interesting shape, and then we're shooting from the opening to this beautiful, iconic hill of a green. One of my favorite par 5s that I've ever played.
Yeah, this one's really about hole management, because even for a 1,000-foot hole, you do have to break it up into those segments. You can't play more aggressive than you need to on any of these shots.
Exactly. There's not really any look to get a 3 on this one, so you're really just hoping to play textbook golf and take the 4. AB going with the hyzer. We have seen quite a few hyzers trickle too far left. And that's actually in a decent spot. A little short. And at this point, the day is winding down. These rounds were taking over 5 hours.
Yeah, this is probably after 7 o'clock. The sun is really low and right in your eye on this hole.
Luckily, Zach Melton lives in sunglasses. Not terrible, but him being a lefty, he'll have some sort of stretch out sidearm. And great camera work there to keep that disc in view. Charlie's shot is picture perfect.
Yeah, that's right. The landing zone you want to be. Again, not too far. Probably going to have a little straight shot backhand from there.
He doesn't like it.
And it's great.
Well,
Maybe he loved it.
he might have lost it in the sun,
Yeah, very, very likely.
but great shot.
Oh, no.
Nope.
That was really aggressive from back there, trying to get up there for a birdie look. And that left kick is just brutal on this hole.
Melton gets a nice little reaction off that tree and waves to it out of respect. Okay. So close to being a sweet scramble shot, and now he's going to have to scramble.
Wow, Germ taking the skinny gap over there on the right side.
And I believe he's going to be in an okay spot. Not incredible. He'll have some sort of stretch out backhand, I believe, for the birdie.
AB can't even stand up to where he's walking to.
Yeah, this is Narnia, folks.
Yeah, we'll see if he has any room to advance the disc. And barely misses the tee pad there, probably going for another tee pad shot. But
Yeah, and the tee pad, the short tee pad on this hole is definitely reachable for AB. Not many players can to it from there, but he is definitely one that can. But he is opting for the sidearm. Let's see what he can do here.
just a little bit too over on it.
Just outside circle 2. Zach goes forehand roller on his third shot. I love the play. And now he can just safely lay it up under the basket.
Yeah, getting up that hill, you either want to be farther away or up the hill, because if you're down to the right of that hill, you can't see the basket.
Exactly. And this hole, even with the best players in the world playing it, averaged a 5.68 in round 2.
Yeah, and it's really quite a change from what we're used to, because normally the par 5s for us are ones we really want to attack and score well on, but out here, they're some of the hardest holes.
I would say almost the hardest holes in the course. Germ goes with the sidearm. And that one got a good reaction. Throwing with that much hyzer into that kind of hill is sometimes a bit of a coin toss. But luckily, he stuck it right next to the basket.
See Zach opting for the forehand, just matching the hillside.
And the bird being thrown pretty much its max distance, 100 feet. What do you think AB's doing here? Do you think he's trying to run it or just lay it up?
I would bet he's probably giving it a bid with how long he can spin putt. That is definitely a run. Wow, and to put it high from
That's just bold.
From 90 feet uphill.
That's a lanky boy right there. Zach taking a par there. Again, pars have never felt so good.
Yeah, and Germ actually got a 4 on that hole. We kind of glossed over that, but he's able to snag a birdie.
Oh, so he was able to throw that forehand from the open.
Yep.
I see. Well, shout outs to Germ for the birdie. Moving into 17. Last par 3 of the course. Uphill. Very unique, tight line.
Yeah, the uphill makes it really tricky because it's really easy to pull your shot either direction, but anything you can do to hit this gap and then really finish out to the right is the bigger side of the green, and Germ did that perfectly.
Yeah, it's nice to see Germ get some confidence back after that birdie on 16. And he is right at the circle's edge yet again.
And this is a shot Zach really likes. This is his signature series Lucid X Maverick, which is a straight to understable fairway driver. He's probably going to pop it on a slight hyzer and let it ride.
Not good for the birdie look, but he got far enough up there where he might have a jump putt towards the underside of the basket.
Yeah, he was very close to some really bad lies in there, so pretty fortunate to get all the way through.
Charlie going lots here. Oh, and there is a bit of a crevice down there, so he might have to do some crawling to get to his disc.
Wow, that was an incredible out from him.
Yeah, super spinny shot. That was awesome. Easy par there for Charlie. He's going to have another opportunity to throw one of those shallow step putts.
And this is Zach. He is a little bit deeper in there than I think we first thought.
About 80 feet from the basket. $25 feet. There it is.
Great putt there from AB to save par.
Back-to-back tough birdies from Germ.
Yeah, definitely two of the harder birdies on the course. And after a couple of rough holes, those are two really good ones to get.
Absolutely.
Good save from Melton.
Zach saying he was doing 2 strokes better than yesterday. And taking a 3 on this one is definitely okay.
And moving on to hole number 18. This is the last hole we will play at Northwoods this year. It's the most open hole on the course, par 4. Your drive, you're just trying to get somewhere out into the field, preferably on the left side to open up so you can see the basket on your second shot, which is up and to the right up this hill.
Yeah, it's really, if you look at the bend of the hole, the elbow of the fairway is where you want to get your drive to. And it's interesting because, like you said, the farther left you get, the more you can see the basket, but it's also farther away from the basket.
Yep.
Germ's forehand gets turned over a little bit too much.
There we go.
I think it faded out into the fairway. Sounded like he got some encouragement there.
Yeah, there's a lot of room out there. Just a bad plant step, it looked there from Zach. And those, we didn't mention it in the whole flyover, but those are really thick, and it is really hard to manage shots out of there.
Not fun, and not fun to find your disc in these either. They eat your discs up. And that's in a decent spot. He'll have probably a similar shot to the basket. Same disc. Maybe going forehand yet again.
This is probably going to be a big distance forehand.
Oh, yeah, this is Cloudbreaker. Oh,
That is
yeah.
smashed.
It's got to sit down.
That is actually around the corner.
Yeah, and he's going to have a nice little chip shot to the green.
That is huge. Germ going overhand.
That's got to play almost 400 feet.
It looks like it went straight into the top of one of those trees.
And Zach might be going over the road on the right side.
And this road does play OB. Going to take a lot of commitment.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what he's trying to throw here.
That's pretty well done, honestly. He's
Yeah.
going to have a little jump putt up to the green.
Turned over just a little bit with that cax. And he's potentially edge of circle 1 there.
Just a spike hyzer flick from AB. That should be good for a birdie. Oh, and Germ has a really tough spot here. Lining up a forehand roller with his AVR X3.
I didn't see
Didn't
what
quite
happened.
See it finish. It looked pretty good. I would assume he will have some sort of putt.
Looks like Zach has a putt for birdie here. After a super creative scramble. Oh,
He was walking it in a little bit. Definitely had a chance. That should be good for a par.
and that's just an unfortunate bogey to have to take, especially after 2 great birdies. Ooh, snuck that in. That must have felt good.
And that's to get back under par for the round, which is incredible out here.
Yeah, anything under par.
Only the top 20, 25 players are getting under par on this course.
No. That hurts. That is a missed opportunity for maybe. And still, he fought for a 4 under par. Fantastic round. That's got to be in the 1040, 1050 range, I believe.
Yep. Zach got back to even for the round, like we said. Pretty great back nine to pick
that
up
was
those
a
4 birdies.
roller coaster. He's going to probably be taking a nap after that round. And Indiana Germ, one last quest. Taps in for a +3. Just an unfortunate day for him. But it shows you, Northwoods Gold does not give breaks to anybody. And you have to earn your score out here.
Yeah, and we're going to be heading to Eureka Lake, which is a totally different course. Thank you all for tuning into this coverage.
And we will catch you on round 3 action. And thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media, and we will see you for round 3.